Prime Minister PM Dahal, who started his 8-day official visit to China today after wrapping up his U.S. visit, met with Chinese President Xi Jinping this afternoon. During the meeting, Premier Dahal said that the Nepal-China relations have reached a strategic level. Premier Dahal also attended the opening ceremony of the Asian Games and is scheduled to visit Beijing tomorrow and meet his Chinese counterpart Li Keqiang tomorrow itself. Good evening, I'm Abhyuday Shrestha and these are the headlines of the hour. Prime Minister PM Dahal meets with Chinese President Xi Jinping during his official visit to China. China shows interest in regional security. Nepal commits to implementation of BRI. Data bank which stores government statistics not secure. Technical works, including software update, halted due to budget cut. National IT Center warns services may be affected. Poland furious over Ukrainian president's address to the United Nations General Assembly. Poland's prime minister accuses the Ukrainian leader of insulting Poles. And the 19th Asian Games declared open through a grand opening ceremony in Hangzhou, China. Prime Minister Dahal attends the opening ceremony. Prime Minister PM Dahal met with Chinese President Xi Jinping in Hangzhou, China today. After wrapping up his U.S. visit following his address at the UN General Assembly in New York, Prime Minister Dahal reached Hangzhou, China this morning. After the meeting of the two leaders, a meeting of the high-level officials of the two countries was held today. Prime Minister Dahal and Chinese President Xi met this afternoon in Hangzhou, the venue of the 2023 Asian Games. According to the Secretariat of Prime Minister Dahal, the two leaders had a 15-minute one-on-one discussion. After the discussion, the representatives from both the countries held a 45-minute group discussion. During the meeting with President Xi, Prime Minister Dahal informed that Nepal had already signed China's Belt and Road Initiative BRI and is looking forward to its implementation. Premier Dahal said that the Nepal-China relations have reached a strategic level. Meanwhile, President Xi stated that collaboration between the two countries was needed for peace and security in the region. Meanwhile, Premier Dahal also attended the opening ceremony of the 2023 Asian Games in Hangzhou today. Prime Minister Dahal is scheduled to visit Beijing tomorrow and meet his Chinese counterpart Li Keqiang tomorrow itself. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs has said that Premier Dahal will wrap up his 8-day stay in China and will arrive back home on 30th of September next Saturday. Issues have been reported on several occasions in the data bank set up by the government to secure all the government statistics. The National Information Technology Center that operates the data bank has warned issues in the server may be encountered at any moment, which would eventually affect service delivery in government entities. The center that had been dissatisfied with the reduction in budget has said that the software has stopped being updated. The center says that delay in essential technical works to ensure internet security could affect government service delivery in the near future. The National Information Technology Center has been operating the data bank to secure data of majority of the government entities. The data bank is a well-facilitated and secure where critical networks, computing sources, and storage infrastructure are used to provide easy access to data for the users. The center has warned of possible cyber attack due to weak security. The government had decided to merge the National Information Technology Center and the Department of Information Technology in the ongoing fiscal year. On the basis of that decision, the center has not been allocated budget to update the software. However, the merger has not been finalized yet. The center has become stranded after the Ministry of Information Technology and the Ministry of Finance decided to scrap it without sufficient legworks. The Department of Information Technology is the regulating body, while the National Information Technology Center is the service provider. Experts say that the merger of these two entities will not be effective. The department itself is being operated with limited staff. The center has been operating the data center in Kathmandu and the disaster recovery center in Hetauda. Currently, the center has around 60 staff, while most of them are based on contract. The center has also been dragged into controversies surrounding political appointments and procurement process. On 28th of January this year, the National Information Technology Center had reported of cyber attack to its server, which had affected government websites from 12 noon to 4 p.m. The services at the Department of Immigration at the Trivandrum International Airport had also been affected. The committee formed by the government to investigate the cyber attack had concluded that the center was ill-managed and had suggested to regulate the center in line with international benchmarks. Meanwhile, the government has remained indifferent towards implementing the suggestions given through the report. It's time now for our segment Public Pulse, where you text us with your opinion.
Public Pulse.
But before that, let's take a look at the results from yesterday's poll. Yesterday, we had asked you, what can be done to control the transactions of counterfeit currencies? 25% voted for A, more police initiation, 35% voted for B, strict laws, and 40% voted for C, general awareness. Here's today's question. What's your take on the issues that have surfaced in the data bank set up by government to secure government data? Your options are A, height of negligence, B, result of budget cut, and C, technical issues. The voting is on. Type NEWS, select your option A, B, or C, and send it to 34001 to share your opinion with us. The price of consumable goods have increased from 10 to 100% within the past 2 months. The price of consumable items have skyrocketed. However, market inspection has remained feeble, due to which consumers have been at the receiving end. The price of lentils that used to cost 230 rupees per kilogram 2 months ago has increased by 60 rupees. Likewise, the price of sugar that was 80 rupees per kilogram has reached 100 rupees. The prices of rice and beaten rice have increased by 50%, while prices of flour, sunflower oil, and mustard oil have increased by 10% each. Along with consumable items, prices of goods required for hotels and restaurants, spices, health services, fuel, clothes, utensils, electric appliances, among others, have also increased by 10%. Consumers have been experiencing inflation of 100%. However, the data published by the Nepal Rashtra Bank some 2 months ago indicates of inflation by almost 8%. In the meantime, traders have attributed the rise in prices of goods to the inflation in the international market. The government has failed to ensure proper market monitoring, and the consumers have been at the receiving end. In our Public Voice segment today, we have asked people in several provinces regarding their suggestion to the government to control inflation, especially when the festivities are around the corner. Let's take a look at what they had to say.
बजार अनुगमनलाई नियमित बनाउनु पर्यो
गभर्नमेन्टबाट नै एउटा नीति चाहिँ निर्माण गर्नु पर्यो
सुपथ मूल्य पसलहरू चाहिँ सरकारले नै आफ्नै प्रयासमा खोलेर जनतालाई चाहिँ राहत दिन सक्नु पर्यो
राज्यको तर्फबाट नि साझा बजारहरू चाहिँ नि सुरुवात गर्नुपर्छ र समय-समयमा यसको चाहिँ अनुगमन हुनुपर्दछ
कृषिमै फोकस गरेर हाम्रो उत्पादन चाहिँ बढाउनु पर्ने हुन्छ
सरकारले जुन मूल्य सूचित राखेको छ त्यही अनुसार व्यापारले बेच्ने बेच्दैन भनेर त्यो गर्नु पर्यो
माथिबाट एउटा निश्चित मूल्य टोकेर सामानहरू बजारमा पठाउँदाखेरि राम्रो होला
चाडपर्वलाई मात्र लक्षित नगरी अन्य समयमा पनि बजार अनुगमनको एकदमै जरुरी छ
प्रशासनहरूले पनि कहाँ कतिमा बिक्री भइरहेछ के भइरहेछ त्यो बुझ्ने ओर्ने त्यस्तो गरे चाहिँ अलि सहज हुन्थ्यो कि
It's time now for the international update. Poland's Prime Minister Mateusz Morawiecki accused the Ukrainian president of insulting Poles in his United Nations address this week. Poland's Prime Minister told Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky to never insult Poles again, returning to harsh rhetoric towards Kyiv after the Polish president had sought to defuse a simmering dispute between the two countries over the issue of Ukrainian grain imports. President Zelensky angered his neighbors in Warsaw, a key military ally against Russia, when he told the United Nations General Assembly in New York this week that Kyiv was working to preserve land routes for its grain exports amid a Russian blockade of the Black Sea, but that political theater around grain imports was helping Moscow's cause. Poland extended a ban last week on Ukrainian grain imports in a unilateral move that broke with a European Union ruling. The move has shaken Kiev's relationship with Warsaw, which has been seen as one of its staunchest allies since Russia invaded Ukraine in February last year.
Sports news.
Chinese President Xi Jinping declared open the 19th Asian Games in Hangzhou, China through a grand opening ceremony today. The 2023 Asian Games opened today with blending elements of artificial intelligence and environmentally friendly technology and a one-of-a-kind opening ceremony headlined by a spectacular futuristic light show. The dazzling program at the 80,000 capacity Hangzhou Olympic Sports Center was a melange of technology, cultural history of China, and the spirit of the continent's unity. In keeping with the main theme of tides surging in Asia, the ceremony was about the intermingling of China, Asia, and the world in the new era, as well as the unity, love, and friendship of the Asian people. The water element through the surging tide of Qintang River, which flows through Hangzhou, was the underlying theme of the grand opening, which lasted nearly 2 hours. The ceremony sought to portray a distinctly Chinese and an uniquely Asian flair, capturing the country's cultural heritage and romantic imagery through the blending of the thousands of years-old civilization and modern technology through stunning visuals. Those attending the opening ceremony were Nepal's Prime Minister Pushpakamal Dahal, Syria's President Bashar al-Assad, President of the International Olympic Committee Thomas Bach, and other high-ranking officials. Athletes from 45 countries took part in the march past this evening. Representing Nepal, Wushu player Nima Ghartimagar and Taekwondo player Birbahadur Mohara participated in the march past carrying the flag of Nepal. 12,500 athletes from 45 nations are participating in the 40 events at the 2023 Asian Games. 253 athletes from Nepal are participating in 29 events at the Asian Games. The 19th Asian Games in Hangzhou will be held until 9th of October next month. Chatur Bahadur Chand has been re-elected unopposed as the president of the Cricket Association of Nepal, CAN. Chand secured a second term as CAN president in today's election, as he was the only candidate for president. The two-day General Assembly of CAN elected the new working committee. After being re-elected as CAN president, Chand said that he would focus on domestic tournaments and restructuring of women cricket. Roshan Bahadur Singh has also been elected unopposed as the vice president of CAN, while Padam Bahadur Khadka has been chosen unanimously as the treasurer. Likewise, Jayanti Bhatta has been elected unopposed as the women member of CAN. Meanwhile, former captain of Team Nepal, Paras Khadka, has been elected secretary of CAN. Paras was elected CAN secretary after defeating his contender Prashant Bikram Malla by a margin of 11 votes. Out of the 85 votes, Paras bagged 48 votes, while Prashant managed to claim 37 votes. All 85 representatives took part in the voting process today. Pakistan and the Maldives were held to a 1-1 draw in the Under-19 SAF Championship today. In the Group A match played at the Dashrath Stadium in Tripureshwar today, Shanan Rashid opened the scoring for the Maldives in the 40th minute, making good use of the pass from Abdul Lot Ibrahim. Jahan Khan scored for Pakistan in the 86th minute to level the match at 1-1. No more goals were scored in the remainder of the match, and both the teams shared a point each. Pakistan have advanced into the semi-finals of the Under-19 SAF Championship by topping Group A. Nepal had suffered a 1-0 loss to Pakistan in their first match. Nepal must defeat the Maldives in their second match to reach the semis. Meanwhile, the Maldives will need only a draw against Nepal to book a spot in the semi-finals. Meanwhile, in the Group B match played at the Dashrath Stadium today, Bhutan edged past Bangladesh 4-3 to advance to the semi-finals of the Under-19 SAF Championship.